On the global front, in Malaysia, the Malaysian Employers Federation urged the government to do more to track cases of infection among illegal foreign workers, an area that they feel could prove problematic in the fight against the pandemic. While the Federation noted that the spread among documented foreign workers has been well managed, it believes that the spread between illegal ones are much harder to track and control, as they often live in cramped spaces. Many are also not covered by any medical insurance. MEF said that there could be up to 3.3 million illegal workers in the country.
Over in the UK, officials admitted that Prime Minister Boris Johnson missed 5 key COBRA emergency meetings in the early stages of the pandemic. COBRA refers to a cross-departmental group convened in situations of national emergency. This comes as the government faces criticism that the UK missed several opportunities to get on the front foot in late January and February.
The fight against the coronavirus continues in mainland China as it reported 12 new cases yesterday. Of the total, 8 were imported. There were 49 new asymptomatic cases compared to 44 a day earlier.
And over the weekend, US President Donald Trump warned that China should face consequences if it was knowingly responsible for the coronavirus pandemic. To discuss the souring relations between the world's two largest economies, we're joined by Kishore Mahbubani, Distinguished Fellow at Asia Research Institute at the National University of Singapore. Hi, Prof. Now, Prof, how seriously should China take President Trump's threat?
Well, if this were normal times, I would tell China, please don't worry. This is an election year. In every US presidential election year, China gets bashed. For example, as far back as 1992, when President Bill Clinton was running against George H.W. Bush, he said very famously, he said, unlike President Bush, Bill Clinton, I will not coddle the butchers of Beijing. But that's a very strong term to use, butchers of Beijing. But I was personally present at Lake Island a year later when there was a very happy meeting between Bill Clinton and the leader of China, Jiang Zemin, in 1993. But since then, the world has changed dramatically. China has come back. A major geopolitical contest has broken out between US and China, which, as you can see from my book, Has China Won? I have documented a great detail. So we are just at the beginning of a major geopolitical struggle between the United States and China. So if I had to give advice to China, I would say, be careful. Dangerous times are coming, as I say in my book.
Well, this blame game that Mr. Trump seems to be playing, blaming China as well as the World Health Organization, what kind of precedent would that set, do you think?
Well, I think it's very dangerous. And as you know, I wrote an article for the Straits Times pointing out that the World Health Organization is weak today, not because of what's been done in the last year or two. It's been weakened for several decades by a dedicated Western campaign to reduce the mandatory contributions from 62% to 18%. And so right now, frankly, the world needs to come together, especially the US and China, together with the World Health Organization to deal with this incredibly dangerous threat posed by COVID-19. So this blame game is extremely dangerous. And we should try to do our best to counsel the key countries and say, please stop this.
Now, Prof, could we see a reckoning between Washington and Beijing? And are we heading towards another Cold War?
Well, I mean, it is, of course, very easy to use the word Cold War because people understand it. We had a big fight between the United States and Soviet Union. But it's important to understand, as a student of geopolitics, that every major contest in some ways is very different. So what we're going to see happening between the United States and China, as I document in my book, Has China Won, is not a repetition of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Because the Soviet Union actually, as a country, was much younger than the United States of America, right? It was formed in the 20th century. By contrast, China is a 4,000-year-old civilization with its own political culture, its own political dynamic. And I think one of my key arguments is that the United States is making a huge strategic mistake by launching into this great geopolitical contest against China without first working out a comprehensive long-term strategy. And it was Henry Kissinger who shared this insight with me. So what we're going to see, therefore, is a major struggle over the next 10 to 20 years. And I would urge my fellow Singaporeans to be psychologically prepared for this great struggle, because it is also going to affect Singapore.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Prof. That was Kishore Mahbubani, Distinguished Fellow at the Asia Research Institute at NUS.